No update. I think we'll know more as the week goes on.
Possible he plays.
Yeah.
Same with JOK and Taven.
Yeah, I got to get to Wednesday to see where everybody is.
Joel was on the bike. Is that just the biceps that was bugging him out?
Correct.
Just get your initial thoughts on your opponent this week, the Falcons. They seem like they're a team that's scrappy, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a good team. Well coached, good players across the board. Having watched it this morning and diving into the scheme, I think it's really sound on all three sides of the ball. So it's going to be a big challenge for us.
You talk about Jacob a lot, but given this greater opportunity without Anthony, do you think that's something he really embraces and looks forward to?
Yeah, without a doubt. Jacob's a very competitive young man. Played well in the last ball game. We're going to need him to continue to ascend and play and get better and those type of things. But he's definitely somebody that's excited about the opportunity.
Was there a specific moment you saw Jacoby's confidence level kind of rise, or maybe vice versa? Yours broke with him.
I don't think so. No, I really don't. I think it's a lot of what we see on Sundays or whatever Thursdays are the culmination of work. Pretty simple.
You said during the offseason that you made a lot of calls to people about Jacoby, and you were really impressed with some of the things that were said. Is there any conversation that sticks out specifically related to that?
Not anything specific or specific person, Jake, but you call former teammates, former coaches, those type of things, and just get a feel for the person. I mean, when you're looking at any player, there's tape, and you can watch the tape, but that doesn't tell the full story. You got to get to know the person as well.
Was there a through line that everybody kind of said this one specific thing about him? Or there different attributes that they?
No, yeah. Again, I think kind of all the things we've talked about. He's a pro, good teammate. He's been through a lot. He's been in a bunch of different situations like we've talked about.
The experience in strange situations, but were you guys drawn to his demeanor as well? He seems to be the same guy all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good trait to have for a quarterback, backup quarterback, starting quarterback. I think that's good because you do go through so much in this league, week to week, quarter to quarter, those type of things. So I think it's a good trait.
On the field on Thursday, just what did you see, kind of watching it, and how much did kind of that month, he was practicing a lot leading up to it. How much did that help make kind of a seamless transition back?
Yeah, I thought he played well. It looked like the old Jack to me, and he was playing very physical. He's looked good in practice. I mentioned to you guys he's stronger than I think he's ever been. I think he worked so hard this whole off season. So good to see him out there.
Will you make a special emphasis or do anything more on special teams this week to sort of shore some of that up, or is it just business as usual?
Well, I think we need to get better in a bunch of different areas on our football team. There's certainly things that we feel like we can clean up, and that's part of what today was. Really, we had a couple special teams periods out there working on some things, and a lot of it always goes back to technique and fundamentals.
Third downs have been on both sides of the ball. For years have always seemed to be a problem here, but this year you guys are doing really well on the offensive side, averaging close to 50%, and on the defensive side, you're holding them to below 40%. Just what do you attribute that early success to?
Yeah, I mean, the guys are doing a nice job. You got to be careful on all statistics in a small sample size this early in the season. But, offensively, I think it helps to be in shorter distances. I think that really has been a thing to look at, especially in this last game. But then it just comes down to, I think the guys are operating really well. I think, I don't want to jinx it, but I don't think we had any operational penalties on offense in that game, and I think that is important, and then is even more important when you go on the road like we are this week. And then defensively, in those situations on third down, understanding where they're trying to go with the ball and having a counter to that. So the guys have a good understanding right now on what we're trying to get done.
When you have a drive on Thursday night like you did, that one where you ran 10 times on 11 plays, Is deciding to run the ball that much, is it kind of feel? Do you go into the drive thinking this is what we're going to do? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I think, we've mentioned this before. You go into every game trying to run and throw it. You're trying to just any which way move the ball. When you get into a second half situation when you feel like the run game is starting to get close to breaking, a run here or there, you give the guys an opportunity to do that. Having said that, it opens up opportunities in the pass game. So that's where you talk about that marriage of the run and the pass. It's really, they serve each other. And in the situation you're talking about, Dan, I think that the guys were just really coming off the ball. I think that we talked a lot about the physicality of that game. We knew that's what it was going to be, and I think we saw that our guys were really up front, tight ends were coming off the ball. They're all fun. When you're scoring, if it ends in 6+1, they're all fun.
You got with the injury to Walker, do you feel that you're down to the kind of the bone at linebacker? You got one on practice. You need to at least find a.
We're talking
another.
Yeah, we're talking through all those things, Tony. I think that's the nature of the NFL, as we all know. You get into certain weeks and you're all of a sudden you felt good about your depth, and the next thing you know, you're out 2 guys, whatever it may be. So we'll continue to look at those type of things, but the guys that are here are getting a ton of reps. Feel very comfortable with the group that we have.
Chester Rogers, he passed the audition.
I thought he did a nice job in some tough conditions the other night in the wind. So overall, did a nice job. We'll see where we go this week.
Deactivate Dimitrik on Thursday. What was kind of behind that?
Yeah, wanted to give Chester an opportunity as the punt returner there. That was for that week. We'll see if that's the direction we go this week. But Dimitrik's a good football player. He's going to make a bunch of plays for us this season.